There's a lot of lenses available for your camera, but there is one, this one, that you might have heard of. This is Helios 44-2 58mm f2, a lens that has etched its place in photographic history as the most produced, most common and surprisingly affordable Soviet gem. This is a lens that can be used, adapted onto pretty much any modern DSLR and mirrorless cameras, and one that I keep coming back to over and over again. In this video, I'll show you lots of samples shot with it, and I'll tell you why this lens is an icon worth of your attention in 2024. Stay tuned to find out more. After the World War II, Soviet Russians went the easy way when coming out with a universal standard lens to go with their Zenit cameras. They took very good and already established Carl Zeiss Biotar 58mm f2 lens and bluntly copied it under their own brand, Helios. They have been making it in different variations until the 1990s. It is literally the most produced lens ever, hence easy to find and relatively cheap to buy. What makes the Helios 44-2 truly special? The lens is renowned for its characteristic swirly bokeh, a mesmerizing effect that adds a dreamlike quality to your images. When the conditions are right and your subject is the right distance from you and the background behind, the lens creates the iconic swirly bokeh. This is probably the most common reason why this lens is so popular. Unfortunately, it was made in Soviet Russia when the quality control didn't really exist, and no two Helios lenses are the same. There are variations in build and optical quality, even between the lenses from the same year or batch. However, there's a lot of them around, and it's not difficult or uncommon to try even 2 or 3 before you'll find the one. But you have to take them for what they really are, as you won't find perfection in any of them. You can buy inexpensive adapters like this one to adapt it to any camera, to the camera that you have, and start shooting with it straight away. The one I have here has been made in 1973. You can tell that from the first 2 digits of the serial number, and I find that this one is actually very good overall. Like with all vintage lenses or even all manual lenses, it takes more effort to nail the sharpness, but I really think that it is seriously easier now with all current mirrorless cameras than it ever was before. Now you can magnify the image on LCD screen or in viewfinder on mirrorless cameras, and you can also use focus peaking to help you, to guide you to the perfect focus quickly and reliably. Focus peaking is when you can switch the color only on the sharp parts of the image. So you basically turn the focus and whatever is in that color you set, it's sharp. The images it produces have really nice vintage vibe to them, sharp with a touch of nostalgia, especially when adding the right look to them in editing. You should check out my new Lightroom presets, link is in the description below this video. It is far from perfect. Sharpness is really only in the center, especially when shooting wide open. Huge amount of flaring when shooting towards the strong light sources, but it all adds to the character and to the challenge shooting or being creative with it. The 58mm focal length makes it a perfect choice not only for portrait but also for everyday usage. It is a standard lens after all, and it is easy to use for street photography, architecture and even landscape. It is a lens very popular with filmmakers too. Those imperfections and that swirly bokeh help to capture that elusive cinematic look easier. It's fairly easy to use to change aperture, it is clickless and the focus manually when filming, making it a very good budget-friendly cinematic option for someone starting up or someone looking for that specific vintage feel. It is built like a tank. That's how they used to make lenses back then. All metal and made to last. This one has survived 51 years and it has been truly abused in only last 10 plus years I had it. There's plenty of them in a very good and even like new condition appearing on the market now and then. It's a small lens weighing approx 230 grams, standard focus ring with the distance markers and those handy finger grips. My lens, this one is quite well dampened and focus ring has got decent amount of resistance, but that will vary from lens to lens. What's really unique, not something I have ever seen on any modern lens, is the aperture control. It has got two rings. This narrow one is a standard aperture ring control, markless and clickless and very smooth. The fact that there is no clicks makes it very easy to turn too far either way when shooting with it. For that, there is the second ring with the aperture value markers printed on. This simply limits how far you want to close the aperture down to without overshooting that mark. So for example, you want to shoot wide open and occasionally close down to f4, you set that secondary ring to f4 and the aperture will only work between f2 and f4. Turn that ring to f16 and you get the full range. Really simple and really effective. Surprising that you don't see that on manual lenses these days. 49mm filter thread and standard for a vintage lens screw-on M42 mount that is easily adaptable to any other mount with an additional adapter. There's obviously no weather sealing, but it is made to withstand nuclear war and serious abuse. Price, these lenses go anywhere between 20, 30 pounds or dollars to even $100 and more, all depending on the condition and the year it was made in. There are also other models or variants of the 44 lineup too. You can often find these in like new condition, still attached to the Soviet Zenit film cameras people kept boxed up for decades. In a nutshell, you can find one real cheap and there's a lot of them out there. Great value for money, not only for creating that vintage look, but also for improving or sharpening your photography skills. In conclusion, the Helios 44 to 50mm f2 lens is more than just a piece of vintage glass. It's a gateway to a bygone era of photography. Its affordability, unique design and characteristic rendering make it a must-try for photographers serious about their craft and eager to learn more. The challenges it presents become opportunities for creative expression, and their adaptability to modern camera systems ensures its relevance in today's photographic landscape. Thank you, ChatGPT, for that very thoughtful and intelligent statement. I didn't say it out loud. I didn't. In my humble opinion, all singing and dancing, autofocusing and very expensive lenses won't make you a better photographer. Shooting with a lens like this is more challenging, but also much more rewarding when you get it right. It is also a talking point when you can proudly say, I shot this with a cheap Soviet vintage lens. If you have it, there's a big chance that you already do, then use it. Don't be afraid to experiment and to challenge yourself. If you don't have one and never tried one before, you really should. It just might make you a better photographer. And this is it from me. I hope this video was in some way helpful or informative. If it was, please give me the thumbs up. Check out my Lightroom presets. All the photos in this video and all other reviews of mine were edited using them. Link is in the description below. Follow me on Instagram. Please consider subscribing. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. There's a lot of lenses available for your camera, but there's this one. But you have to take the 50mm focal. It is a lens. It is lens. It is. It's affordability, unique design, and characteristic rendering. Characteristic rendering. In my